Barron's, located inside Kingpins off I-29 and 52nd Avenue South in Fargo.
And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for joining us on this cool Friday afternoon. It's 106 right now and temperatures are 27 degrees outside. Welcome to what I'm going to call a free-for-all Friday. I'm meteorologist Justin Storm. I'm here with Ag Director Bridgette Readel, and Mystery Voice, our producer Jace, will be chiming in from time to time as well. Guys, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Justin. It's finally Friday. I mean, you can't ask for more than that, especially when the weather is starting to just get a little bit warmer.
A little bit, just a bit.
And I am so excited that one of our previous guests, Jeff Hunt, with the Huntier app that would help connect our landowners with our hunters, he dropped off T-shirts for us. So I'm sporting his T-shirt today. Thank you for the T-shirts, Jeff. Really appreciate it.
I left mine at the office, or otherwise I'd probably be rocking it too. And just to kind of recap what his app is, it's basically Airbnb for hunting. If you don't have land to hunt, you can book land through his app. And you book time periods, time slots, where you want to be at. They'll designate where you can hunt once located on that land. And then, of course, there's a rating system for both the hunter and the landowner. This is just a super cool app. I'm glad that we got him on because I had no idea there was something like that out there.
And he's really built it so well. Like you said, in some ways it has Uberish ideas with it, so that if you don't like or want to rate and review someone that you were the hunter or the landowner, you can do that. And so he's made it really great to connect a lot of people. And I truly appreciate how he's going about doing it.
It's super cool because we always hear these stories about how landowners don't let people from Fargo hunt on their land because apparently people from Fargo are jerks and they trash the land or don't respect the land or the rules that they're asked to follow. And this is cool because what he's doing is he's bridging this gap between hunters and landowners, and it holds the hunter accountable. You can't just go out there and trash the land and not obey by the rules that the owner wants you to, because then your rating is going to get very low and other people won't let you hunt on their land in the future that way.
I really liked the discussion we had with them. And the other thing we've done is we've had other app developers as well. And yesterday's discussion with Rob Sake with the AgVisor Pro, I've had a lot of comments with folks saying, that was awesome. He is so well versed in his product and can explain it extremely well. And then made some of those features like, you swipe back and forth to answer questions like you would on Tinder, or you're able to rate and review people who give answers as experts. So he just did a fabulous job of talking about that link and that app. I was happy with that.
Yeah, and if you've missed either of those conversations, you can head over to our YouTube channel, Weather and Ag in Focus, and we chop all of our ag topics and our guests, our interviews, into nice little clickable formatted short videos. I don't think I have either of those interviews quite chopped up, but the full-length show is saved under the archived live show, so you can still go through there and find those past conversations about the Huntier app as well as the AgVisor app, as well as our other great guests that we've had on. Bridgette, like I mentioned, I'm just going to call today a free-for-all Friday because we got some structure to the show, but who knows where it's going to go. And I'd encourage anyone who wants to join in on our conversations. You got something you want us to talk about, something you want to talk about, ask a question. 701-293-9000 is the Red Wing studio line that you can call in to join Weather and Ag in Focus at any point during today. You can also reach us via email, weatherorag@flagfamily.com. And one of the topics I'll throw out there is, what does everybody think about the weather? I mean, we're on number 2, the second longest stretch of not hitting 40 degrees.
I have a topic there. I sent some pictures to our video producer, so hopefully he brings those up. One is this morning when all of the trees were covered in frost. They were absolutely gorgeous this morning, which is completely wrong for the fact that it is March 24th and that snow in my front yard is a little bit deep. But last night, as I was driving back from Garrison, thank you to the Garrison FFA chapter for letting me speak I got to see the Northern Lights, and I took the time to pull over east of McCluskey. This was before I got to Goodrich, and that was the picture my iPhone took. And it looks a little fuzzy, but the colors are even better, I think, in the film of the photo than what it was when I saw it with my naked eye. And I could see it on my entire drive home last night. I could watch the Northern Lights in various parts of the sky. It was phenomenal.
That's super cool. I know I was sitting there. I was just finishing up some work last night answering some of the email questions from our LRC special. Yes, I am answering those. I'm down to about 40, so we're almost through them all. So just be patient on those for those that are waiting for a response from me. And my phone starts blowing up. I'm like, what's going on? I'm looking at it, and it's like weather and ag in focus, weather and ag in focus, weather and ag in focus. Someone commented, somebody liked. I'm like, I didn't post anything. Who posted something? I look at it and I'm like, oh, the Northern Lights are out. I went and looked, and I couldn't see them from my house, but I was gonna go out and take a look. But I was babysitting little baby Sterling at the time, so I didn't really feel like packing him up in the car and hauling a half hour north.
Well, and I was the one who posted that photo. So yes, it is on our Weather and Ag in Focus page, which is our Facebook page. You're welcome to go look at it. I saw lots of great photos from folks all across the region who saw the Northern Lights last night, and they were spectacular. It was a good night to be a watcher, if you will.
Yeah, Jace, you're a night owl. Did you catch the Northern Lights by chance?
No, I live over here in West Fargo, so I don't know that the metro area would really kind of allow me a good look at it. But I did see a lot of the photos last night, and they were spectacular. I mean, I saw the one that Bridgette posted, and it was very clear, especially in people's photos last night. The Northern Lights were out. A lot of people were out driving, and they saw them. So very cool to see those pictures last night.
Yeah, it was super cool. There's actually a chance you might be able to catch them again tonight. So if you don't have an app, I'd recommend downloading Aurora. It's a nice little app. It's a purple icon, and it will give you a notification anytime the KP index, which is the index that we use to rate the potentiality of the aurora borealis forming over your area. And whenever you get a high KP index based on your area and cloud cover, it gives you a percentage of your chance of seeing them. So it kind of gives you a heads up. It'll be like, hey, there's a 8% chance you'll see the Northern Lights, and believe it or not, an 8% chance is actually a pretty good bet. So you can head out and wait. The difficult thing about the aurora is it's so hard to time. I've been asked the question earlier, and I got a few emailers that sent some questions in earlier regarding the aurora, and they're like, when's the best time to see them? When do I know to go out? And I'm like, anytime. The funny thing is they can happen in one area, and you can be on the opposite side of the area.
Is that the technical answer, Justin? Anytime?
They can happen.
That's pretty specific.
It is, and they can happen anytime. It's just hard to track it down.
And they don't usually last that long. I mean, I started driving last night out of Garrison, and it was probably around 9. And when I got to McCluskey, they got brighter. That was around 10. And I saw them all the way until I got home. So yes, for those of you who are following my route, it was 1:20 in the morning when I got home last night, and I could see them pretty much the whole way.
Yeah, like I said, I looked out my window, and I thought I could maybe see them, but with the light bubble of Grand Forks, just not enough to peek through it. But yeah, I think they were out from about 10 to 2:30 last night, and then I think there was a secondary burst around 4 a.m. or so. But generally, I'd say 10 to 2 is usually a good bet to go out and look for them. Is the time frame that I would give.
So on this whole topic about weather, Justin, I have some trivia things for you, especially since we're still blanketed in snow. Okay, on March 2nd, 1942, 24.7 inches of snow blanketed what Canadian city and region?
Saskatchewan.
24. If you can't say it, I'm not letting you have it. So, this was
let's go Winnipeg.
In one day. 24.7 inches of snow in Ottawa, Ontario.
Wow, it's a decent amount of snow.
That's a lot. But
and in one
that
day,
wasn't
too.
the same. In one day, that wasn't the same as the infamous blizzard of 1888 in New York. This went from March 11th to 14th. So for those of you who think March isn't a snowy month, I'm proving you're wrong. This paralyzed eastern New York, much of the New England states, and there was record snowfall. Connecticut, 50 inches of snow. Sarasota, New York, 58 with drifts that were 20 feet high. That was in 1888.
Man. It's like that the story we were talking about, the blizzard of 66 up here, 1966.
Yes.
I think it was 1 to 3 feet of snow fell, and it caused drifts, 20 to 40 feet tall?
Well, the wind was driving that one pretty hard,
I know they were
if
at
I
least
recall.
20. It was like 70 miles an hour, and it was windy for 3 or 4 days.
So I realize that our meteorology has gotten so much better, especially because we use the LRC, right? So wink, wink, nod, nod to us. We do a great job. But they didn't have a lot of warning with that storm in 66 and some of the others that came. What's changed? Have our models improved so much? How are we getting that much better at figuring out what's going to happen with the intensity of some of these storms?
A lot of it has to come down to computers and being able to run numerical computer models based on what the weather conditions are at a certain time. So back in the day, before the computers, one, they weren't able to obtain all the information that we can today. And even today, there are things that we still have to make assumptions on because it's just impractical to get the actual data to make your forecast even that much better. They did all of it with hand analysis. They would literally connect the dots of the pressures or the sea level pressure across the United States, and based on their understanding of how these large scale synoptic scaled features move, they would predict where they're going to be at and the outcomes that would come from it. So really it was all hand analysis, hand math, and there's a lot of room for error when you do that.
I bet.
Your forecasting window is only a couple of days.
Oh, that's very true. Now, you've got folks that are saying, how come we're getting so much snow in March? This is not unusual. I know we're at the tail end of March, but here's a little fun fact for you. The Farmer's Almanac forecast for the Mid-Atlantic region in 1997 to 98, which was a traumatic time for this region with all the snowfall we received and henceforth the flooding in Fargo. But the Farmer's Almanac said coastal snow will not occur until late winter, if at all. The actual weather for that time period, 5 inches of the region's 6 inches of total snowfall did not arrive until after March 20th, the first day of spring. All things are possible in weather.
It definitely is, and it's going to do what it wants to do. Well, if you want to talk about the weather, again, talk about, what are you doing this weekend with the chilly temperatures? We're the second longest stretch without a 40-degree day. Will we go down as number one? Well, I think we have to hit April 11th or 12th to beat that 152-day span without a 40-degree day. Give us a call. We want to hear from you. Let us know what's going on. 701-293-9000 is the Red Wing Studios. When we come back, our studio line, when we come back, we'll touch on a couple ag topics. Bridgette, I want to go back to something we talked yesterday about, and this was some mistreatment of livestock going down on a family farm or ranch in Nebraska. So it'll be interesting to get a little more detail and dive a little bit more into that. And I know you had mentioned there's a lot of details that are still a little fuzzy or unknown, and we don't want to make assumptions, but let's try and talk a little bit about what was going on down there and maybe some things that could have been avoided or other outcomes from the situation that was going on. And again, if you want to join on the conversation, feel free to do so. We'll be right back, so stay tuned.
Kinder Care is assisted living homes located in West Fargo, offering adult day services, companion care, and assisted living. All the services you need are available at Kinder Care. Home-cooked meals daily, 24-hour security, personal care, and more in a cozy family environment. 2 beautiful homes located on 3 acres of land in a scenic, quiet country setting. They've been in West Fargo for 8 years now. Owner Melanie Klinkhammer pours her heart and soul into the residents and staff. Discover what Kinder Care can do for you or your loved ones. Visit kindercarefargo.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hello there. My name is Seychelle, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is the punch of flavors that's unlike any other. You get the crispy tenderness of the chicken and that hint of sourness from the pickles. Ta-da!
Hey, I'm Juan, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is you're going to get chicken that's crispy, golden, and juicy. This is the gold standard of chicken sandwiches.
Order the original Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real customers paid for their testimonials.
Hi, I'm Kevin Wolf, president of Laney's. Do you need your sewer line unplugged? Or maybe you need your sewer line totally replaced? If so, you need to consider Laney's for all of your sewer needs. Our technicians are courteous, clean, and professional, and you can trust that they will get it done right the first time. So for peace of mind, call us today at 237-0543 or visit us on the web at laneysinc.com.
828 is just great.
Hi, this is Kevin Pfeiffer with Pfeiffer's Auction Company. Pfeiffer's upcoming March auctions include 1,530 acres of highly productive cropland in Clay, Norman, and Becker counties. In Minnesota, 1,500 acres of Red River Valley cropland in Cass and Richland counties. Over 2,000 acres of cropland and pastureland in Bottineau, McHenry, and Williams County. 320 acres of cropland and hunting land in Billings County near Belfield, North Dakota. View these auctions and many more land and equipment auctions at Pfeiffer's.com.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 in the morning, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Pucklet Chevrolet Buick GMC in Valley City makes it easy to find your next Chevrolet Buick GMC or pre-owned vehicle by offering a great selection at our best prices possible.
And welcome to WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. As always, I'm thrilled that you are here because I'd be disappointed if you weren't. I'm Bridgette, Readel, Ag Director, along with Meteorologist Justin Storm, and we get to spend the day talking about all of the topics that sometimes we just can't get to. We get great guests, always have fun conversations with them, and then we sort of run out of time because the weather is a big deal in this region. Ag is a big deal in this region. Our guests are so much fun, so we're doing a little bit of catch-up at this point. But Justin, you've got a question for me after I spent the whole first segment grilling you.
Well, I love it when you do, and I love the information that you provide for me and our listeners as well, especially the little tidbits about weather and history. This was an ag topic that we touched on yesterday, but we only had about a minute and a half to cover it, and I don't feel like a minute and a half really did it justice because it could potentially be a pretty big deal. And this is some mistreatment of livestock that was going on down in Nebraska, and I'm not exactly sure. I don't remember what the time frame when you said this happened, if it was recently, like within the last week that this has been going on, or is this over like last month?
Okay, so this has happened within the last 3 months, right? These counts of misdemeanors were brought up in December, so the seizure of the animals would have happened prior to that last winter or in the fall. Here's the background. This is in Logan and Lincoln County, Nebraska. The sheriff's office there, in conjunction with the Nebraska State Patrol, as well as their brand inspectors for the state of Nebraska, investigated the whole situation. There was a father and son who have been charged with felony counts as well as misdemeanors of abandoning and neglecting livestock. The reports say, and again, this is all giving the legal background, reports say that these animals were malnourished. There were 1,000 head of cattle and sheep. When they were taken into a local livestock sales barn and were looked at, examined by veterinarians, they were found to be malnourished. There were several that were sick and or dying. It appeared that the animals did not have enough feed on the pasture where they were grazing, nor was there access to water for them at that point. And this is an area, Nebraska has been hard hit, as well as Kansas and Oklahoma, with drought the last couple of years. I don't know what the pasture conditions were like. I do not know if this was a financial hardship, if there was not access to quality feed for the livestock. Those are some of the questions we don't necessarily know. And often, I would try to ignore these types of stories. I like to talk about ag in a very positive light, but the reality is those things still happen and they're not taken lightly. And that's when you bring in not only officials like sheriff's departments, et cetera, but then you need to bring in your livestock associations or your brand inspectors who can do a better job of helping you determine the cause and what might be going on.
Now, Bridgette, was this would you say this was a local case, or was this a significant enough case that somebody like U.S. Department of Ag OIG would get involved with? I mean, are they only, like Department of Ag OIG, are they only investigating type of cases where there's people making claims, to get supplements or whatever from the government in kind of a financial type of way, or do they also investigate things like this? 1,000 head is a significant number of cattle.
It is, but I think if you're going to have federal folks involved, and this would certainly be a question for law enforcement, but if you're going to have somebody involved federally, that would indicate crossing state lines. Then it would become an interstate travel situation. So I don't think that was necessarily the case.
Well, I mean, the only reason why I say that is that sometimes cases like that don't necessarily have to involve going across state lines. It depends on if it's a federal offense, obviously, with something like that. But obviously, it seems as though it's more of a local situation there then.
It does. It does appear to be more of a local situation.
Right, and it looks like we might be having someone who wants to chime in, and if you want to join in on this topic, ask a question. Red Wing studio line phone number is 701-293-9000. Again, for those watching on YouTube or Facebook Live, as well as Acres TV, that number displayed, 701-293-9000. And while we're seeing if we have someone who wants to ask a question about this, I wanted to ask you, Bridgette, what are... I'm trying to think of how I want to put this. They're being charged with misdemeanor and felony accounts of abandonment, neglect, malnutrition of these 1,000 cattle and sheep that are getting sick, possibly on the verges of dying due to not having enough feed or not enough water. What are see, I'm struggling on how I want to put this, but what if the conditions on the pasture that those cattle and the sheep were living in or on is due to the weather, and there's nothing you can do about that? What are you supposed to do if you run into that situation and all the water dries up and all the grass is dead, but you have all these cattle? Are you required? Well, obviously you probably should, and you probably are, but do you have to move them somewhere else and get all of them out of there?
So there's not a requirement, right? They're considered private property. The same way as a dog or cat owner you have a moral responsibility to take care of your pets. And so there's nothing that requires them to move them. If in fact these were overgrazed pastures, if there was not financial stability in order to provide quality feed, it's very possible that they were maybe trying to make some arrangements in another way. I don't know what that looked like. If you have a pasture where water is inaccessible, most livestock folks will go ahead and move their animals. They'll find another way to either drill a well, move them to a different stockyard. We don't know those details. And so those ask really great questions, though. What do farmers and ranchers do in that situation? We have so many people who take great care of their animals. They would indeed look for ways to look for those improvements as fast as possible. Caller asked, did the sheriff notice the cattle, or did the sheriff's department come across this case? And as was reported in this investigation, a sheriff's deputy was called to a rural area after a neighbor initially reported cattle on the roadway, and that led to further investigation of why they were out, what was going on in the pasture, that type of thing.
Right, and I believe you had also mentioned that some of them were brought, what was it, an auction house, and when they were being examined by the vet, they were shown, or they had been shown signs of malnutrition and not being taken care of health-wise because they were sick.
Right, that was the case, and there were several animals that, as the vets did their inspection and they're looking them over physically, etc., there were some that were to the point that they did have to be euthanized.
I see. So, has this made its way into the court system yet? Is this something that would be brought up in courts? I would imagine it would if they're facing felony charges on it.
Preliminary hearings began March 16th. And so that has begun. This whole thing is going to go through its process with the investigation is going to continue. There'll be determined whether or not there could be additional charges forthcoming in the situation as well.
I see. Well, it'll be interesting to see what kind of outcome comes from this and more details that we learn about it. If the conditions were just, it just happened, they couldn't get around it. They didn't have the financial needs or maybe the physical needs to move those cattle. But regardless, they are your animals. You are responsible for taking care of them. And I think the big thing to point out in this, and this is what you had mentioned earlier, Bridgette, ranchers take care of their animals very well, but things like this do happen occasionally. So it's just one of those unlucky stories that has been brought up. But for the most part, everyone takes care of their animals very, very well. And in most cases, they're treated better than people.
Well, and I do want to say that I appreciate that their Stockman and Livestock Association in Nebraska was involved, as well as veterinarians, because you want the folks who are closest to those types of situations to do the investigation, right? I don't call an ear, nose, and throat doctor if I have a problem with my knee. So if I have a concern about what's going on with these livestock, the sheep and the cattle, then I would make sure that I call vets who are in practice, as well as making sure I would get officials from the state that know what's going on as well. So, but we are hitting the bottom of the hour. We've got to take a few moments and check into some other things. We'll be back right after this. We'll continue talking about our ag headlines, the weather, and taking your calls on the Red Wing Shoes hotline. You can reach us 701-293-9000.
Oh, can you imagine a stress-free Sunday with family, friends, fun, and food? You can have it when you make Barron's your new Sunday brunch headquarters. Experience a brunch like nowhere else. Your kids will love the customizable waffle bar, fresh scrambled eggs, thick cut bacon, and much more. Plus, while Mama sips on a mimosa, you can wear out the kids in the arcade at Kingpin's.
For a stress-free Sunday, mention My Brunch Headquarters and receive 20% off brunch at Barron's. Make your Sunday stress-free, filled with great food, no cleanup, and most importantly, where family, friends, fun, and food come together for brunch at Barron's. Go to brunchatbarons.com. Again, brunch at BARONS.com. And don't forget to mention My Brunch Headquarters for 20% off and experience your stress-free Sunday at brunchatbarons.com.
Brunch at Barron's, located inside Kingpin's off I-29 and 52nd Avenue South in Fargo.
Olivet Lutheran Church in Fargo invites you to join us for worship Sunday mornings at 8:30 and 10:30 and Wednesday evenings at 6. During this time of Lent, our theme is No Greater Love, where we will reflect on God's love for us through the death of Jesus on the cross. Our sanctuary is also open Wednesdays during lunch for individual reflection and prayer, where you can light a candle, leave a prayer at the cross, or simply be still. For more information and to watch all of our services online, go to olivet.org.
So the media says indictments are looming against former President Trump anytime in New York, Georgia, and Washington. Trump calls it a political witch hunt, and Alan Dershowitz, the famed attorney, agrees. The famed liberal Harvard professor speaking out against the targeting of Trump in his new book, Get Trump. All this week, Rob Schmidt is on Newsmax talking to Dershowitz about the weaponization of our justice system. Rob Schmidt is exposing this shocking abuse of power. You need to watch Rob Schmidt and Alan Dershowitz tonight. It's not about Trump. It's about you and your freedom. Watch Rob Schmidt tonight, 6 p.m. Central. It's the hottest show on cable news. Find Newsmax on major cable systems and streaming like Roku, Samsung, Vizio, Pluto, Zumo, and more. Don't forget to download the free Newsmax app on your smartphone. You can watch it anytime, anywhere. I watch Newsmax all the time. You should too. And tell your friends and family to tune in to Newsmax today.
Attention experienced agronomists. If you have experience in the agronomy field, New Century Ag is looking for you. They're hiring a full-time agronomist. New Century Ag is looking for a motivated individual to help continue to build and grow their agronomy division. The candidate will be expected to work with farmers on crop protection products and services, seed sales and recommendations, plant nutrient and fertilizer sales and recommendations, and more. Apply at newcentag.com/careers.
Attention farmers, when it comes to your grain storage and handling solutions, one call does it all. Gateway Building Systems is the #1 Brock bin dealer in the U.S. Gateway offers factory direct products and in-house design services to ensure you get the very best for every project, no matter the size. Maximize your investment with a trusted brand. Choose Brock Solid Bins from Gateway Building Systems today. Visit us online at gatewaybuilding.com.
It's wild. It's unpredictable. It's back. Shooting Star Casino presents Coors PRCA Championship Rodeo. Friday, March 24th and Saturday, March 25th, 7:30 each night in the Fargo Dome. Top professional contestants from across the nation going head-to-head with the award-winning stock of Mossbrook Rodeos in 7 head-slamming, bone-jamming events and dance each night at Cowboy Jack's. Get tickets at the Fargo Dome box office or Ticketmaster.com. Kids are half price. Coors PRCA Championship Rodeo. March 24th and 25th in the Fargo Dome, where 8 seconds is a lifetime. Sponsored by Holiday Inn Express and your local Ram dealer.
Welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Jay Stemman running the board today for meteorologist Justin Storm and our Ag Director, Ms. Bridgette Readel. How you doing, guys? Halfway through. You're almost to the end of your work week.
We're halfway through. We're on the back half of the marathon here.
Well, that's good. I mean, that means you're that much closer to having a nice, crisp, cold one after work hours. Am I correct? For some people might need a nap, though. Right, Bridgette?
During workout. I mean, after. There we go.
If I pull in the last segment, if I pull a George Costanza and I'm napping under my desk, y'all will never know. You can't see that on the camera.
That is true. I mean, you've got your camera strategically positioned, so we cannot see that. But I want to know if you got the secret compartment for the alarm clock. That's what I want to know.
Also, if it's secret, I can't tell you.
Exactly. Well, we're waiting for Bridgette to come back, and while we wait for Bridgette, I'll stall and tell you the weather again.
Perfectly fine with me.
You gotta love a Friday. And if for those that don't know, Jay, who's running our board today, he's also one of the hosts of Primetime Sports from 6:30 to 8.
6:30 to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, then also Flag Sports Saturday 9 to 11 a.m. And then I also produce and kind of jump on occasionally with the hockey guys 8 to 9 Saturday mornings as well during the hockey season. They've got about 3 episodes left. They'll finish up after, or actually on the weekend of, I believe, the national championship.
All right, Jace. You don't have enough going on.
No.
I got something for you.
Okay.
Okay, so
drill 'em.
As soon as you get off air at night,
yes,
you could join NDSU's Extension Service. They're hosting Spring Fever Garden Forums. These are happening every Monday evening from March 20th to April 10th. You get free seed as well as listening to these seminars with the Extension Service. They're talking about designing gardens for butterflies, growing your own fruits and vegetables, improving your soil. And Justin and I might just take part in this. So if you want to be part of the competition on who has the better tomatoes, bring it. See at the end of the summer.
I don't grow tomatoes. I grow chili peppers. I go like jalapenos and stuff.
What else are you growing in that garden of yours?
I can neither confirm nor deny, Justin.
That closet garden, right?
we've actually had a butterfly garden in the front of our house up front. I don't know if we've got the perfect mix of flowers and stuff for the butterflies, but we do have that out in our front yard. So that's been there for some time, and so maybe I need a few pointers on how to get that butterfly garden growing a little bit better and get a few more butterflies there.
Maybe you do. And if you want the link to sign up, why don't you go ahead and email me, ag@flagfamily.com, and I'll send you that link for those who want to participate.
And that goes for anybody out there that wants to participate as well. Just email Bridget at her email she just named off, because I can't repeat the whole thing because I wasn't paying attention. I'm just kidding.
It's okay, man. You're watching sports. You're doing prep for your show tonight. Hey, what did you think about that Wild game last night?
It was disappointing.
This is weather and ag and sports.
Yeah, it was. It's not WAG. It's was. Or it's WAGs, one of the two, whichever way you want to look at it.
There we go, WAGs. It's WAGs.
Whenever I'm producing, it's WAGs. It was not cool because they only got 1 point in overtime and a shootout loss, and then the Dallas Stars, who were tied with atop the division, they got a win. So kind of now they're in second place.
I'm okay with losing, but come on, the Flyers with the worst power. Yeah,
I know, right? It's never ending. There's always a problem. It's Minnesota sports. You have to realize that you set yourself up for disappointment when you cheer for Minnesota teams. That's just kind of a fact. That's the way it is.
You're not wrong there. I'm just saying. Also, because as the most non-sports person in the room, you guys talking about tennis? What are we on here? I missed it.
The most non-sports person, Bridget. Who's got season tickets to NDSU football games?
No idea. Check out my video right there.
Somebody likes to talk a little bit of trash when it comes to their favorite football team. I'll just point over there, Bridget in the top corner.
Well, we had just put a short together from one of our shows last week, and Bridget comes out of left field. She's like, "How many baskets does it take to win a hockey game?"
I remember that.
You want to check that video out? It's on YouTube and Facebook.
Took him a minute.
Those guys a long time to catch on.
We start going, and then it echoes in the back of my head, and I'm like, wait, what did she just say? Bridget, what? No.
Totally got Justin caught him off guard there.
Oh,
I did. Okay, so headlines or trivia? Which do you guys want? I have some things going either way.
Oh my! All right, let's go with the trivia here.
Yeah,
we were serious there in the last segment. Let's go lighthearted again.
Okay. So this is more weather trivia that I have, which I find hilarious that I'm the ag director bringing all the trivia to town. Okay, so what causes a double rainbow, Justin? You're going to have to answer this for us. Double rainbow. What happens? How do you get it?
A double rainbow is
I think it's just
today. Friday. Me and Bridget are both running on 4 hours of sleep.
I think it has to do with a hippie somewhere in the middle of by the Grand Canyon. I think that's what causes them. If anybody remembers that if you remember the video.
Double rainbow.
Whoa, it's a double rainbow, bro.
Man.
What does it mean? That's what you have to keep in mind.
Double rainbow forms from a type of light scattering. I think it's called ray, or maybe it's light scattering. It's when the light hits a raindrop and part of the spectrum goes through it, the other part is reflected, and it bounces off the back of the raindrop and reflects again. So you get a double parallel image of the light being refracted through a raindrop or a water particle.
It's like you went to school for this stuff or something, Justin.
Yeah, look at that meteorology degree in action right there.
Weather
awesome.
scientist Justin Storr.
Now,
I do know what I'm talking about. I'm not just giving off fake numbers most of the time.
Okay, so Jace.
Yes.
Jace is the mouthy guy running the board over there.
Yes, that's me.
You should remember your high school science classes.
Oh, geez.
What's the acronym for the order of the colors in the rainbow? There's a name.
Oh, what is that? Because it goes red, yellow. Oh, I forget what it's called now. You're going to say it. I'm going to remember it as soon as you say it.
Yeah, and I'm not giving you any prizes for it.
I know. That's the worst part, too. You answer a trivia question, you get no prizes. Justin,
I think I got the answer for this, and whoever was just trying to call into the studio, try again. Give us another call. We'll pick you up. It's Roy G. Biv.
Yeah.
Royal
orange, yellow, green,
indigo,
blue, ultraviolet,
violet.
Isn't there ultraviolet?
Yes.
But that's after.
There is violet. It's a wave.
Just violet.
Yep. All right. Yeah. I knew. I mean, I was trying to remember the colors. I knew the order they were in, but I couldn't. Missed that one.
Well,
hey man, it's that double rainbow all the way
double
across
rainbow,
the sky.
Double Roy G. Biv.
Double.
So I don't have to hear that again. Could the caller please call back, please?
Yes.
701-293-9000. Please bring that back. I'd appreciate it. Okay, other reminders that are going on here right now. Earlier this week, I don't think we touched on it here, but are wheat acres moving out of the U.S.? To an extent, they are, because we are seeing that we taught everybody around the world to raise wheat in a variety of places. Australia does a fabulous job of it, actually. And so we're seeing a number of companies who typically do research in their wheat moving out of this country. They are going to be doing it in other places around the world. Wheat is not one of our nationwide. Wheat acres are down. They have been down over the last 10 years. We don't raise as many acres as we do of corn, soybeans, and some of our specialty crops. And so it's unfortunate that an area like the Dakotas that was built on raising wheat, we actually have less research with it, and we see less wheat acres overall. But hasn't gone away completely yet. We're still number one in raising durum and some of our other cereals crops. So go wheat. It's my favorite crop to raise, and I hope we see an uptick in it this year. We'll just wait and see.
See, it's like my least favorite in my farming simulator game, but I'm all beans and curns, so I don't know what you want from me.
I just make silage or whatever. That usually brings in the most money and the cheapest way to do it. But the caller just wanted to point out that double rainbow is caused by 2 bowls of Lucky Charms and a beer, but I don't know if you can confirm that or not.
Yeah, I think you could probably get that.
And honestly, on my 4 hours of sleep, that might be supper. So dude is right. I will go with that.
So yeah,
that's
it's either
phenomenal.
2 boxes of Lucky Charms and a beer, or it's 1 rainbow and 5 beers.
Maybe, yeah, exactly. You're seeing twice as many. Double points, though, Bridget, if you put the beer on the Lucky Charms and eat it.
Hey, I'm the one who took eggnog and tried it with Cheerios back at Christmas time, because I was going to fill my Cheerios bowl, and I looked in the fridge, and I saw a jug of eggnog, and I thought, well,
that seems like it would work. And what was your? I was going to say, what was your review of eggnog on Cheerios?
Not terrible. That was eggnog that did not have alcohol in it, so I would say that it went just fine for a start to the morning.
There you go.
It was good.
Oh, that's great. Well, we're going to get caught up with the American Ag Network. When we come back, we'll touch on another ag topic, because I believe recently it was National Ag Day, and is it still Ag Week, or was it just Ag Day, Bridget?
We had the whole week. Ag Day was on the 21st, on Tuesday, so that was the day that the most events were happening, but the entire week has been National Ag Week, as we're highlighting all good things in agriculture.
So we'll touch on that when we come back.
Local bean producer and marketer in Colgate, North Dakota. They're a leading marketer of dry edible beans, offering various varieties, and their diverse product offerings allow them to bring more to the customer. Not only do we use the latest crop management techniques and processes to produce and distribute the highest quality beans, we offer the strategic positioning to grow your business with our experienced field representatives, knowledgeable traders, and advanced technology. Contact Trinidad Benham for your 2023 growing season contracts. Online at trinidadbenham.com.
Did you know that just about everything we eat, wear, and use comes from American agriculture? Not only do they provide all that, but help meet needs around the world. During National Ag Week, your friends at Fevig Oil and Propane salute and thank all that work in agriculture. Fevig Oil and Propane is the name you've grown to trust over their 60-plus years of providing propane, farming fuel, and lubricant requirements to the area. Fevig Oil and Propane online at fevigoil.com.
Are you looking for a summer internship? If so, you are in luck. Mindak Farmers Cooperative, located in Wahpeton, North Dakota, is looking for summer interns in electrical and instrumentation, with the opportunity to expand into full-time employment. For more information, call 701-671-7777 or apply now online at mdf.coop/careers. That's mdf.coop/careers.
Nancy Kelly Realty is here for you. We would love to show you around. Looking for the simplicity of country living? Then welcome home to Colfax Meadows in Colfax, North Dakota. An easy 25-minute drive from Fargo or Wahpeton. We have half and 1 acre lots starting at $22,500 with a 2-year tax exemption on new homes and low specials. Build your dream home, raise a family, or retire in the country. Colfax Meadows has a place for you. Find us at nancykellyrealty.com.
Rich Risbett with American Ag Network here for this market update. We're chatting with Ryan Moe from Stone X. So, Ryan, as I look at the grain markets today, they are all in the green. They seem to be surging, maybe pulling back from some of their earlier highs. But what's moving those markets today?
Well, for beans here, it's just good to see beans not just getting hammered. This would be a dead cat bounce type market environment, because if you look at how hard beans has been hit this week, it is a substantial loss, and we would like to go ahead and just see it not go down every day. And it's probably more so of just the sellers taking a break than it is new buyers entering into the marketplace. On corn, however, though, there's more Chinese sales, and the corn market is looking pretty good. If you look at what the corn market has done here this week, it seems like it's been an extremely volatile week, but the truth is on a weekly chart, we're only up 8 cents on the week, but considering how bad things have been for the soy complex, corn being up 8 cents is a win.
Well, Ryan, as I look at the livestock numbers, I notice hogs are up while fats and feeders are a bit mixed. What are moving those markets today?
Well, probably a little bit more of the same, as it's just money flow here. For the hog market, it's been getting beat up so bad for so long. And to just finally start to see some of the selling dry up here, that's a welcome sight for a lot of the producers in the U.S. marketplace. We now have summer hog in the low 90s. And when you're feeding $7 cash corn to hogs in the low 90s, it's very difficult to make a profit pencil out of that over an annual landscape.
Those have been comments by Ryan Moe of Stone X. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Ristvet.
Welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us. It's 1:52 on this finally Friday afternoon. 27 degrees outside, but it feels about 16 due to a south wind at 12. But hey, a 12-mile-per-hour wind within the Red River Valley. I think I'll take that wind every single day because I consider that pretty light. And we'll see the light wind continuing throughout the rest of today. Around 5 to 10 miles an hour with temperatures in the upper 20s to low 30s today. Dealing with cloudy conditions right now, but those will be thinning and starting to break apart as we head towards the later part of the afternoon. So we'll call it partly sunny for right now. Skies will return to partly cloudy conditions. Overnight tonight, partly to mostly cloudy. Could see a little patchy fog developing again, kind of similar to this morning with overnight lows for the most part in the teens. A few of us will drop down into the single digits, and granted, there's enough clearing with the light winds in the early morning hours of tomorrow. There could be a couple of spots throughout the southern and central valley that drop just below zero, but for the most part, we'll all be in those single digits to low to mid-teens. For your Saturday afternoon, not going to be bad. It's just going to be breezy out there, so it's going to feel pretty brisk. We'll have a northwest wind at 10 to 25, so a little patchy drifting snow possible. Temperatures mid and upper 20s, partly cloudy to partly sunny, and lighter winds, but similar cloud cover for your Sunday in the mid-20s. Things, unfortunately, do get colder as we head into next week. Monday and Tuesday, teens and low 20s for highs. Could see a little light snow Wednesday morning, but I'm still keeping my eye on a potentially bigger storm system coming in what appears right now to be late in the day on Thursday into Friday. There's a potential it could start off as rain and then transition over to snow, but the exact track, intensity, and outcome of this storm is very uncertain at this point in time, so we'll give you more updates as we go throughout the week ahead.
Well, Justin, you've done such an excellent job of explaining things today. We have a question about the Northern Lights. So our caller is on the line. Please go right ahead with your question today.
Good afternoon. Just wondering, okay, usually when we have like Northern Lights coming up, usually the news, social media, there's look up tonight and the next night and you're going to see Northern Lights, if we got clear skies. Well, last night it seemed to like this great light show just seemed to like, I never heard, and nor did a lot of people I know hear anything about it, being, potential for it happening. And it was just stupendous. It was awesome. But it's like, is there like a warning, like to when that stuff is going to happen? Is there, I guess, is it going to happen tonight? Is there any way? Yeah. predicting that.
So I know what you're asking on this, and it's the four heads up. Hey, there's a good chance of seeing the northern lights tonight, and they do issue warnings for geomagnetic storms that travel from the sun. They hit our atmosphere. They can disrupt some forms of communication and power transmission technology if they're bad enough. And they do issue watches and warnings for that. I don't know what the website is off the top of my head, but if you download an app on your smartphone, it's called Aurora. On the App Store, it's a purple square icon with the northern lights on it right there on the screen for those that are watching on our YouTube or Facebook Live. That app works amazing, and if you have your location turned on, it will notify you when there is a decent chance of seeing the northern lights, or if the KP index, which is used to rate the intensity or how far south these are going to be potentially able to be seen, it'll let you know what that index is over the next couple of days, or at least the expected one. It also gives you up to 5-minute data on what activity is doing around the area. So I would recommend downloading that app for anyone that wants to maybe see the aurora, because it'll give you a notification when they're around.
Well, cool. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for calling. Do it again in the future. We appreciate it. All right.
One other thing that folks can do when we talk about what's going on out in the ag industry, if you want to drop an email to me, ag@flag.family, I have another little item for folks. Minnesota has announced, this is through the Minnesota Department of Ag, mini produce grants. So if you are a producer who is growing any of the following crops and more: leafy greens, apples, berries, peppers, squash, mushrooms, and tomatoes, Justin. Ooh, we might have to be in Minnesota for
Bridgette,
this.
quick question before you finish, though. How small do they have to be to get to have the mini version of apples and leafy greens? I mean, is there a size to get the grant?
Well, give it to Minnesota to have the mini grants.
Yeah, I just figured that, you got to know the size range, because if you grow regular size apples, you can't get a grant for mini apples, right?
Right. I'm sure that's exactly what they were thinking. Or it might just be the fact that you have a mini plot of land that you are raising.
Oh, that's what it meant.
You sports guys aren't good at this game, are you?
They're more of a visual.
Yeah, I need pictures and things. I need moving pictures on the screen.
That's fine. When I'm eating apple pie later, I'll send you a visual of that.
A mini apple pie?
So maybe it'll be mini after I ate half of it. But if you want it on those grants, for those of you in Minnesota, drop me an email. I'll send you the link for it, because it can be up to $800, and it can help you with supplies if you're building hand washing stations, harvest totes, water testing for E. coli, and more. So let me know if you have an interest. I'll try to help you out. Glad to do it.
Speaking of pie, a coffee club yesterday, we were doing a taste test. If anyone's heard or seen or tasted one of these chocolate peanut butter cream pies from Costco, they weigh 5 pounds. They're $20 and almost 9,000 calories.
Oh, I think I
ate it. It was amazing.
I think I ate a pound of it yesterday.
It was so good.
My eyes were bigger than my stomach. It was good. I mean, it's one of those things where I don't think you need to have a normal size piece of pie. You can go with the smaller sliver, because it's very filling, but I mean, the texture of it is still felt kind of light and fluffy. Oh, don't shake your head at me for that, but I thought it was great, and I just ate too much of it.
Okay, so wait, you said chocolate
peanut
butter. Is it like a flourless cake, or is it more like a mousse consistency?
A mousse consistency.
Mousse.
Yeah.
Both the peanut butter and the chocolate.
Yeah.
It's on graham cracker.
You got to remember how big of pies they have at Costco. They're like the size of a truck tire wheel.
Oh,
honestly,
so never mind that. Okay.
Well, good luck trying to find one of those Costco pies. I've heard that they're in very high demand and very low supply. But that'll do it for us here on Weather and Ag in Focus. We thank you for joining us on this free-for-all Finally Friday. We'll be back on Monday, 1 to 2 o'clock, Bridgette and I, and maybe we'll bring Jace along again. Until then, everyone have a great day and have a wonderful weekend.
970 WDAY AM and 9